Okay, it's now 7 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order, and we do have a quorum. And if everyone will stand, Greg will lead us in the invocation.
Here today, we thank you that you watch over this district and the city, and that we pray that you will guide us in our decisions, that we be pleasing to you and helpful to this community. We pray for those that are suffering right now. We pray for families that have had serious situations going on, that you will comfort them and lead them in a direction back to happiness. And we pray that you watch over each and every one of us through today, this evening, tomorrow, and beyond. We ask all this in our name, our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. And Katie will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to welcome all the guests that are here, and thank you for coming out on this wet, rainy night. All right, item number 4, campus recognitions.
This has your name. All right, let's see what it says. It says that you are student of the month. Yeah. And it says Ariel is a senior who has been our Bulldog mascot for the last 4 years. Oh my goodness. And she's always smiling and offering anyone she has to see, anyone that she sees, she offers them a hug. And she also tells the best jokes ever. I don't know about that. So I believe many people at Venus High School would agree that Ariel's presence each day provides joy and happiness to our day. So this is Miss Ariel Aguayo. Let's give her a big hand. Okay?
For some reason, Emma's video did not stick, so Emma is a great student, worked super hard, and was instrumental in putting on the TSA regional event, and the hardest working TSA president we've ever had, and a leader amongst her peers. She is truly a bulldog.
Right here.
Come up here, Halen. We have something for you.
Hi.
Halen, for everybody in our class, Halen is our student of the month for the month of March.
Wow, congratulations, Halen. Good job. Everybody say good job, Halen. Good job, Halen. Good job. We're so proud of you.
Halen is in Miss Dowdy's pre-K class. Miss Dowdy said, Halen is a wonderful student to our class. She is so kind and sweet, strives to be the best. She is always ready to learn and is very creative. She takes her time and does things correctly. Halen is proud of her work, and she does and is someone that represents the R's perfectly.
Very
So,
good.
Congratulations, Halen.
Good job.
In front of your entire class, but we decided to bring your parents to tell you that you are our student of the month for March.
For the month. This is just a little bit about what was written about Journey. Journey Fields is an exceptional young lady and is a role model student for all students at VHS. From her art teacher, we could only wish we had 100 more like her. She is an exemplary person, an exemplary artist. And just a little side note, Journey was responsible for the artwork on a recent teacher appreciation drive. And so her artwork did this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Come forward. You have been selected as the student of the month for Venus Elementary. Hi is very respectful and helpful. She is constantly assisting those in need. Whether it is a student or a teacher, not only does she do what is asked of her, but takes the initiative to be kind and caring even when no one expects her to be. She is a perfect example of an exemplary student.
Congratulations,
Congratulations.
Yay.
All right.
How you want to stand it? Come on over.
Mr. Centino, you have been selected as the lead elementary staff member of the month. Mr. Centino has been an excellent addition to the VES staff. He has a good rapport with staff and students. Mr. Centino is hardworking and motivated to do his best. Mr. Centino is exceptional. His fifth grade math skills are absolutely unmatched. He is always looking for ways to help every student. Recently, he requested strategy sheets for students in other grades that needed assistance with multiplication. He is always willing to help and always willing to go the extra mile. Congratulations.
Come in.
Get in
Back
there,
it up,
get in there, get in there.
Pardon the interruption. You may have to turn the light on so they can.
Mr. Killen, we would like to stop by you and honor you by being selected as the March Teacher of the Month. Perfect. Thank you. Mr. Killen is new to us this year, but he is already just like family. He always pitches in wherever it is needed, even without asking. He calls buses every day and does it with a smile on his face. I have never seen him without a smile. He brings sunshine to our campus, and we are lucky to have him. So congratulations.
Are interrupting your lunch.
On
So-
Crazy Hair Day.
Yes, on Crazy Hair Day, we wanted to present you with your Staff Member of the Month award. So, anyway, so let me do this. Do we have our sign?
We do.
Okay. Ms. Garrison serves as a special ed aide and works in our life skills room. And she's always helping where needed and is a team player. When staff have been out, she has been assigned many different places and she takes over to get the job done. She makes every effort to help and doesn't complain about her job. She loves these special ed students and will make a great classroom teacher one day.
Thank you.
Congratulations, our staff member of the month. Ms. Steph.
Don't let me step on anybody.
All right, y'all listen.
Listen up. Miss Hill is a PD aide on our campus. No one works harder than she does. She subs wherever she is needed and volunteers before anyone has a chance to ask her. She is always in a great mood, works hard to lift others up when they need it. She is working on becoming a teacher, and we cannot wait to see her in that position. Congratulations.
Okay, this is Tabitha Hudson is kind and wonderful teacher. She creates lesson plans and activities with each student in mind. She goes above and beyond to accommodate all of her students. She's a team player who strives to be the best teacher, partner, and co-worker. She exceeds that goal on a daily basis.
Ms. Casel, you have been selected as the February Staff Member of the Month.
Oh my! Oh, how
And
exciting!
Because of Snowmageddon, we weren't able to get around to honor you, so that's what we're doing today, is to come present you with a little token of our appreciation.
Well, thank you so
Ms.
much.
Casel has worked hard as an ISS teacher to not just instill discipline to students, but to build relationships with them. She always volunteers wherever she is needed and is happy to do so. She continues to be an asset on our campus, so congratulations.
Thank you so very much.
All right, get over here in the middle.
I told you she was
Well,
making up time.
Staff Member of the Month, co-staff member of the month, right?
How about I take your balloon
So
and I'll put it in
Ashley, let's see what it says.
All right.
There we go. This is AMAZI, that's what it's.
That's what the A stands for.
So, Ashley Keel goes above and beyond in her work duties, and she loves her students as if they were her very own. She's respectful and kind to everyone she comes into contact with. Mrs. Keel is a very hard worker and dedicated to Venus Elementary School. She's an amazing addition to our team. Congratulations.
I love my job. I do.
And everybody here loves you as well. So congratulations, Ashley Keel, our staff member of the month. Yeah.
You have been selected as the teacher of the month for month of March.
Oh, thank you.
This is Miss Knowles' first full year at VHS. She has done a great job building relationships with our students and community. Not only is Miss Knowles a dedicated math teacher, but she hardly ever misses a game supporting all of our students. No matter what season the sport is, you will most likely see her at athletic events supporting our Bulldogs. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Somebody else?
This is for Coach Hargrove.
Come on down, Coach Hargrove.
Woo. Coach Hargrove, you were selected as the February Teacher of the Month. And because of Snowvid and Snowmageddon or whatever you want to call it, we weren't able to get around to get it to everybody, but this is what your campus wrote about you.
Thank you for the balloon.
Coach Hargrove is a leader on our campus. He loves to be involved in all things middle school. He has been an innovator this year and is working with other teachers to propose a STEM academy at the middle school. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
We wanted to go ahead and bring to you the award for Staff Member of the Month.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So let's see what this says here about Ms. Siller. It says, okay, we got balloons. It says, Ms. Siller has done an outstanding job as an inclusion paraprofessional. She is always willing to help out and has covered several inclusion schedules by herself. She's a team player and invaluable to the VES campus. Her dedication to student success is her top priority. Mrs. Siller is an absolute joy to have here on the VES campus. So congratulations, Staff Member of the Month, Mrs. Siller.
Anything, yeah, I forgot.
Last but certainly not least, you've been selected as the March Staff Member of the Month.
Yay.
Ms. Soto helps make our office and campus run smoothly. She oversees school finances, scheduling, subs, and helps ensure the office and campus runs in an efficient manner. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, you've been selected Teacher of the Month.
Thank you.
Ms. Sulak, get up here. Ms. Sulak is our math interventionist at VPS. Michelle is a hard worker. She cares about the kids. She goes above and beyond for the students. Ms. Sulak works hard to give individualized instruction to meet the needs of each pupil. She really takes the time to get to know students so that she can help them in the best way possible. Michelle is a trooper. She steps into sub when needed and happily reports for car duty on time every day. VPS is lucky to have her. So, congratulations.
Thank you. This is
Very hard working from the minute she gets to school until the time she leaves. She has such a great outlook on life. She is fun and make sure the kids are greeted with a song and a warm smile every morning. She has really jumped in with attendance meetings and works to ensure all of our students are accounted for. We are proud to have her at VPS.
Oh, thank y'all so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's why I wouldn't let
All right, so here we are, back again. So, let me read this to you. Yay, baby, yeah, this is a celebration. Ms. Walker is one of our special ed teachers and heads up our PPCD program at VPS. Ms. Walker is very kind and patient. Yes, she is. She cares deeply for our students and their families, has been so helpful and always shares her great ideas. We appreciate her because she puts a lot of effort in meeting the needs of her students, including this one. Ms. Walker does an amazing job providing activities that will help students grow and learn. Ms. Walker is a great role model and mentor, both professionally and personally. So, here we go. Congratulations on Teacher of the Year for Venus Primary School.
Come here, Nolan.
Uh-oh, Nolan, you're in trouble. I see it.
You're not in trouble. Come on, it's okay.
Nolan, you've been selected as the February Student of the Month. With the snow vid and all the weather,
We're just getting
we
caught up
weren't
today.
able to get out and hand these out. So this is just a couple of things that your teachers had to say about you. Nolan is a hard worker. He does everything we ask of him with a smile on his face. He is quiet, but a true representative of being a bulldog. So, congratulations.
Where is Oscar?
Oscar, come on down. Come on down.
Okay, this is Oscar Castañeda Furman, okay? And Oscar, you have been voted the February Student of the Month. Y'all give it up, right? Balloons. Now let's see what it says about Oscar, okay? Let's see my special people glasses here. Okay. Says fifth grader Oscar has worked really hard online the first 6 weeks. When he came back to face, he worked even harder. He's always very kind to other students. Is that right? Yes. And very respectful to his teachers. Is that right? Yes. Okay. And he never has to be told more than once what to do. He just jumps in and does it and gets the job done. He's always helpful, and especially with other students, right? Yes. Yeah. And this person says, I asked him to befriend a new student that was really quiet. He did so with a smile on his face. The best thing about Oscar is he always laughs when I tell a corny joke or sing off key. All right. Give it up one more time for Oscar.
One, stand up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo! Yay!
Presentation of the delinquent tax report by Charles Brady.
Hello, President Owen, Superintendent Hopper, hello, everybody.
By the way, the dinner was delicious.
Oh, you're very welcome, you're very welcome, I'm glad to do that, and this report is the kind that you like.
Oh, is that okay? People are arguing their values, and they're doing so quite successfully. We've had some refunds come through in Venus, but it's nothing like what I've seen other places, so that's positive. We haven't had any bankruptcy activity, which is positive. This has been a pretty normal year in terms of finance. It hasn't been normal in any other way, but it's been normal in terms of finances and the way that things are collecting. Michelle, one of the last projects that we worked on, and one of the things that we're going to be working on with Miss Rhonda is there's a bunch of accounts on the tax roll that are very old, and this is business personal property that's over 10 years old. It is it's the policy of the tax office to never take that stuff off of the roll, and once it's more than 10 years old, it becomes uncollectible by matter of law. And a lot of that stuff was never here to begin with. It's like piping operations that aren't here anymore and that kind of stuff. We've filled out some forms, we've signed those, and we've submitted them to Scott Porter's office in an attempt to get those taken off of the roll so that y'all can have a more realistic expectation of what there is out there to be collected, because there's like a fiber optic account on there, and I don't even remember that there was a fiber optic company here, but it's very old. It's like 15 years old, and apparently they stored fiber optic cable here back before I even started practicing law and before any of us were on the board over here or anything, and it's still on the roll, and that doesn't need to be on there. So we're working on that. We've managed, and if you'll go through the report here, we're managing. We filed 19 lawsuits this year, and we've been able to resolve 15 of them because, we've filed them and everything, and I think that that's good when you can resolve about as many as you file. We haven't had to sell anything. People are able to come up with some money and meet their expectations. I think we're doing very good with the payment plans and things like that. But that being said, we do have some judgments. We have some suits. We have 7 suits that are in judgment, and we've had 2 that have been released, which means that they got paid in full, and non-suited, same thing. But we've got about $20,000 in judgments, and if we can't get payments arranged for those folks, then we're going to hold a sale. And the way that that works is that I'll put together the sale properties that are going to go out there. This is going to be vacant land. It's nobody living in a place, but we'll make sure that Mr. Hopper's office has that and that it's advertised here at the school as well as in the newspaper. That's going to be Cleveland Times Review that's advertised through. And beyond that, everything's just rolling along quite well. If you have any questions, I'm here for you, but very good report. There's good collections. Good collections, and the people here, take your hat off to the people of Venus. They're paying their taxes overwhelmingly on time. Yeah.
Thank you, Charles.
Oh,
No, when you watch all the kids and everything, it's always to follow up on that. I guess he did the best he could on that.
Well, and I get to see that, and it makes me proud that I get to be part of, even if it's just a little bit, I get to be a part of this. Y'all are doing special things here. Yeah, it's nice to be part of the team. You're very welcome. May I be excused, sir? All right, I'm going to get home to my family. Y'all take care of each other.
Take care, Charles. Thank you.
You don't have to drive in the rain.
Oh, it'll be fine.
Okay, we will go to item number 7, which is consideration and action on order authorizing the insurance of unlimited tax refunding bonds. Mr. Jeff Golbus, did I pronounce that right?
Yes, sir. Hopper, how are you?
Doing well, Jeff.
Good to see you. I'm going to turn over to Mr. John Martin, who's y'all's financial advisor. I'm Jeff Golbus, so I provided the agenda language. We've been Venus ISD's bond counsel. So I prepared the long document, which has a lot of legalese, and good for y'all if you attempted to read it. I'm happy to answer any legal questions y'all have, but otherwise, what's generally more interesting to the board is your potential savings opportunities and all that. So John Martin here is your financial advisor, and I do, Mr. Hopper, have a big stack of documents, and so we can either wait until the end of the meeting or I can leave them behind. No rush to get them back to me. You let me know how you want to handle it. Otherwise, after y'all hear about the finances, if you have any legal questions you want to know about the order that's before you or anything, I'm happy to jump back up here. But it's always good to see y'all.
Evening, I'm John Martin with Hilltop Securities. With me tonight is Michael Martin, also from Hilltop Securities. We've been talking to Mr. Hopper about the idea of some bonds that are eligible for redemption. There are 2 issues, the 2006 bonds and the 2010 bonds. The 2006 bonds, they had some capital appreciation bonds, so it'll be nice to get rid of those types of securities. We'll still have some with the refunding, but really what we have an opportunity is take advantage of lower interest rates these days. The remaining debt, we're not talking about extending the debt or anything, just simply a cash flow savings really on an annual basis to the taxpayers that, as we heard, are doing a great job paying their taxes. Maybe we'll make it a little easier for them by lowering their taxes a little bit. So the annual savings we're estimating to be about $100,000 a year from these 2 issues. The calendar is such that we're going to be ready with your action tonight if you choose to move forward. We'll start the process with we'll have to have a visit with Standard & Poor's, the rating agency. where we'll talk about economic and demographic and financial information. We'll prepare the offering document. Obviously receive you may recall from past debt issuances that the permanent school fund guarantee, we apply through TEA, and that makes our bonds AAA, which makes them very attractive. We're estimating in terms of the interest cost on the refunding bonds to be just above 1%. So really outstanding interest rates that we're seeing still today. You've probably heard on the news that rates are creeping up and that sort of thing, but still very strong demand for municipal bonds. The plan would be then to on April 22nd, a month from today, would be to price the bonds, go out into the market. It takes a little while to get everything together and get through the rating agencies and that sort of thing. And then we would deliver the bonds then on May 18th. These bonds are callable on August 15th, so we can't do anything really earlier than May 18th. So we'll be working with Jeff's team, Jeff Gulbis and the McCall Parkhurst folks very, very closely and making sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Happy to answer any questions you all may have.
How much you say this one saves?
Roughly $800,000. So we're estimating about $100,000 a year for the next 8 years.
So just in layman's terms, John, this is a refinance.
Yes. Yeah, very similar to refinancing your house. You're just taking higher interest rate and you're replacing that with lower interest rate.
Mr. Hopper, I'd add, the method of doing this, obviously, the board's action delegates to Mr. Hopper the authority to finalize that at a later date. As John said, the key kickers is we can't extend any debt. We can't add to the debt, and then obviously we have to hit the savings that John described. And so rather than trying to sell bonds and time it around a board meeting, this gives us great flexibility. And that gives us that flexibility to Mr. Hopper to finalize all of this and actually sell the bonds for a 6-month period. If we can't get this done in 6 months, which we should, then we would have to come back to the board for authorization again.
Any questions or discussion?
So would you term this as renewing bonds or reissuing bonds or?
Well, it's called a refunding. The current refunding is the technical term.
Well, I was just asking because I'd like to make a motion to refund the bonds as presented here.
We have a motion by Greg. I'll second. Second by Chad. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion passes.
Thank you.
Unless y'all have something else that you'd like to leave now.
Well, thank you.
You've been kicked out of better places.
That's exactly right.
Not running the office.
Does that suit you if I leave them?
Yes.
Okay, they're all flagged and it's all pretty self-explanatory.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir. Good to see you. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you. You're welcome. More welcome to stay.
Yeah, and I know I owe you a debt capacity, and I've got a debt capacity analysis. I'll get that in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, sir. All right, y'all take care.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to item 8, presentation of the annual maintenance report. Mr. Hopper.
All right, so I'm gonna present the maintenance report. Do they have this in front of them, Liz?
They received it in their package.
Okay. All right, very good. I don't want to belabor it, but there is quite a bit of information here. So let me go through and just walk through some of the stuff that Ronnie has down here. One of the things that I appreciate about what Ronnie did, he sort of listed several of the duties that our maintenance has on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual, biennial, and triennial basis. I didn't think that's a word Ronnie ever used, but there it is. So the AHERA inspection that you see on triennial, that's asbestos checks. That's what that is. So Asbestos Hazard Emergency Response Act, that's what that's referring to. So I don't think there's a big need to go through all of those things, but you can see some of the things that they do and those are the regular scheduled times to do those. And then there are various things listed under each campus, of course. Current facility needs, I think, is probably a more of a topical issue. So these are just and these come in random order. They're not necessarily prioritized. But the primary school, some of the things that we're looking at, roof leaks. Now, we deal with roof leaks, virtually every building, I suppose, to one extent or another. One of the things we've talked about is getting a schedule for roof replacements on the different roofs. Now, that's not to say that our roofs are, by and large, in bad need of replacement. We've got some areas, for instance, right now, one of the roof that covers A and B Hall at high school is one of the areas of concern. But those are basically some patchy spots. And right now, I don't know that we have any. I think we've taken care of those leaks, haven't we, Ronnie? Yes. We do have a wing over at the primary school that I call the northwest wing. It's also, I believe that's a kindergarten hallway. We've got a pesky leak that has been going on for some time. That we can patch it up, and we basically move it. Anyway, that's so we don't have and those are typically, would you call those small leaks? So they're like you said, they're drips. But what we're going to work on next is a replacement schedule for these. And right now, if we were going to propose any replacement of these roofs, it would probably be a package deal that would include part of the high school. And you have to, when you look at the aerial view of the high school, you're going to see that the entire roof, it's not one building. It's in sections. So the one section that covers the A and the B hall would probably need to be replaced next, along with that west wing, the northwest wing at the primary school. So roof leaks, you're going to see some of these to some extent on several of these buildings. Burnout light. And so what we do with our lights is that we are systematically converting to LED when we can. These lights go out, and then we replace the ballast, and then also with new LED lighting. In fact, I think we're scheduled to do that in here, aren't we? So, irrigation, completion of irrigation over at the primary school to include our playground over there. And one of the reasons we wanted to do that was that our ground cracks so badly. And primary school students especially are susceptible to, the joke is, we could lose a pre-K kid down in some of those cracks. And so we want to make sure that ground that we know that they're going to be running around on, of course, they're not going to be twisting ankles and that sort of thing. Painting of the parking lot. Elementary, again, roof, irrigation, parking lot for teachers, and the parking lot in the backside of the elementary is something that's been a topic for a while. And that's an issue that needs to stay on there until we get that done. Replace the kitchen back door and the hardware. That's not a huge item, but that's something that we need to take care of. Replace the marquee face at the elementary, and then also the lighting, as we mentioned. Middle school parking lot, and we're talking about the middle school that goes all the way down on the south side of the football stadium as well. That eventually needs to be paved for various reasons. Exterior painting of the gym, all the weight rooms, fitness center. So what this is that's basically trying to tie all those buildings in together. It's sort of they've been built kind of piecemeal over the years, and so if we are going to, those buildings are going to be there for a while, then we can do something to kind of aesthetically kind of tie those in together. Door and hardware to replace 2 back middle doors. Roof leaks, painting, rail damage to the front parking lot, lights, enlarged parking area by the new gym. One of the things that, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but when you come to a ball game there at the middle school gym, we've got that nice new gym. We don't have a whole lot of parking over there. Basically, you've got, I guess, a little more than teacher level parking. But as far as people coming to games, they're parked all the way up on the grass and all of that between the parking lot and the maintenance building. So that's something that we need to look at some point. Replace board and plastic facing on the marquee. Some of our marquees are getting old. HVAC units that need to be replaced, 2 of them at the fitness center, 2 of them on the front of the school, north side of the building. There's 4 of them, tech building, shop area. So that's the middle school. High school cafeteria, and we need to eliminate the double lugging. So I am going to get Ronnie to explain double lugging to you. Ronnie? This one I can't do.
When you take a breaker and it calls for 2 wires, whether it's 110 or 220, and they add an extra set of wires to it to get power, which it should never be. So it's basically double lugging a breaker, which is dangerous.
How many do we have?
It's mainly in the kitchen at the high school.
Yeah.
I mean, we've eliminated some of it, but we're gonna have to add more bigger breakers, break it down to sub boxes. To add another panel to it.
So that's a safety issue.
Question?
Sure.
Who did the wire, I mean, is that original wiring that they used, or was that done in between the time the building was built and? I really can't say who done it. I know it's been there for a long time. We noticed it when we were adding a new sub panel for that break area for the cafeteria, snack bar area. When we pulled the panel off, we noticed that they double loaded several times.
So that's a safety issue that we need to be addressing. So replace faucets and shower heads at the A gym dressing rooms. It's just part of having an aging facility. Lights, roof, replace floor tile in the nurse's office. We've got some other floor tile areas over at the high school as well that we need to take a look at. Repair, realign A and B gym bleachers, especially in the B gym. They're at a point where we're going to have to get that work done this summer. So replace countertop and sink in the teacher's lounge. Putting pressed wood near a water source just isn't a good idea. Gas repairs on the roof and install new shutoffs. HVAC units need to be replaced, 7 of those RTUs at the high school. And then at the high school field house, replace all the faucets and shower heads. Again, just for an aging facility, we're talking about mineral buildup and stuff. So, administration, not just a whole lot there. Ag barn, painting, different type of heating system for the barn areas. You want to address that, Ronnie?
Well, the type of heating we have in there now is just small electric heaters, which does not heat the barn sufficient enough for, like this cold snap we just had, and a few others we've had in the past. Just upgrade with some type of gas unit or a bigger electrical unit.
So one of the things that, like he said, and that was a big concern of ours during this last course. It was everybody understands an unusually uncharacteristic cold snap that we had, but we have animals out there, and so that's something that we'll look in as far as getting some estimates on that and some ideas on how best to do that. Replace water lines under the house out there by the ag barn. So that was a casualty of the freeze as well. Those water lines under that manufactured house. Maintenance shop, clean up the yard area. Daycare, replace one of the HVAC units. So,
No, that casualty at the Ag House, I mean, that's been repaired surely by now, right, or not?
yes, sir. I mean, we got the water functioning it back again. But did we have some extra that we need to do out there still yet, Ronnie?
No, we finished that.
Okay, all right. I think this report was done before that. Technology building is that thing's been re-leveled more times than you can shake a stick at, I guess. So looking at, I'm not sure what we need to do on that, but we need to take a look at it. Transportation and food services, replace and add to fencing, and these are just some of the things that some of our folks have mentioned. And then out there in the parking lot, there are a few potholes, but those can be easily done. Welding shop, install door locking hardware on the restroom doors. And athletics, football goalposts need painting. Weight room, light fixtures, ticket booth re-roofing. Is that legit, Liz? Okay. Pour concrete around ticket booths to meet ADA specs. You know what we have right now, as far as when it's actually a pretty good incline when you go up over that, and that is not that's not conducive to wheelchairs and things like that. Real easy anyway. Repair sidewalk areas near the stadium flagpole. Build an awning on a baseball concession. Football field walk area and parking needs asphalt as well. Stadium fence replacement, the 4-foot area. And if you notice that fence, it gets a lot of leaning on it. And that chain link fence just gets a lot of bow to it. Now, these are just things that need to be done in time. Not all of these things are going to be done currently. Not all of these things are going to be done even probably in the next budget year, but we want to keep a running list of these issues that need to be addressed. Push bars, panic bars on stadium fencing. And then the grounds, and so those are things that we do as well. Again, these are some of the things on our maintenance report. Ronnie, about leaving anything else out that I need to add?
Just those blocks, we're gonna add the middle school restrooms.
I'm sorry?
So, blocks, you talked about blocks at the CTA, like the bathroom, but we're actually gonna do the new restrooms at the middle school.
That's right, new restrooms at the middle school. As well. So that's going to be another topic. That's another topic. But what he's referring to there is one of the things that we've done is we're amassing a report of all the damage done by the winter storm, and our gym floor is going to be a pretty significant casualty. And it's going to be a lot more of the floor because we've seen a lot more buckling. So at this point, we're looking at most likely, and it's an insurance situation, but most likely replacing that gym floor that we just built. So, and Ronnie was talking to the insurance guy today. I think we've got some areas in there that's buckled up by inches, and yet there are some places he was talking about that, you know, they're what, 2 or 3 feet.
Some of the other school districts.
So. Bottom line is it doesn't matter if it's a foot or if it's 2 inches. You know, it's the same damage, and that's going to have to be replaced. The good news is, if there is any good news to that, it's that we're done with our games that are indoors at this point, and so we can get on that as soon as possible. But once again, that is an insurance issue for us. That's also going to be turned into TEA. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do with that, but I'm hoping we'll see some kind of relief from TEA for damages for schools across the state. Does anybody have any questions regarding the maintenance report?
I have one on the roofs. Are we looking at repair or replace?
We've been repairing. When we get ready to replace, one of the things we'll do is we look at our budget. We'll take a look at, again, I think first up on that docket is going to be that high school and that wing at the primary, so that we can take care of both of those most significant issues that we have. So if that's something that we can put in our budget for next year, that'd be great. If you know, when I asked Ronnie about that, what is your thought on getting those things replaced as far as the timeline?
I think we could get by with 5 years, but we're still gonna have to repatch them.
running a guy, like a consultant or something.
Right. So
That was still one of the main issues, is the
Yeah.
high school.
what we can do is put that on the budget for next year and to get that done. But as we do that, it's going to be a pretty tight year next year. So that was my question too, is to Ronnie, as we were looking at, what do you do here? Of course, as your building maintenance goes, probably there's nothing more important than your roof. That's your first line of defense for everything. So we've got some leaks here and there, and we want to make sure that that none of those cause any permanent damage. So we want to address it as soon as possible, and that was my question: is when do we need to get this done? And so we can work that into the budget for next year.
And my thing was, last year when we were going into the budget, I wanted to see it in the budget.
Yeah.
For this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, we went with portables, et cetera, we had other things on.
Right.
That took precedent, but that is something that we definitely need to.
Why don't we just work that in for next year then?
Right.
There's going to have to be a systematic replacement as we go anyway.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it needs to be a plan.
Yeah.
It's something that we probably get done sooner or later.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I really believe that, a lot of times we get in these things we know we need, but it's never, we don't see it in the budget. And it's
Yeah.
good to start putting that on a schedule or something so that it's
Well-
in the budget every year and then you don't even have to think about it.
Well, these are our buildings, and they're going to be our buildings for a long time to come, and we've got to get every bit out of them that we can. So we've got to make sure that they're well maintained. So we'll work that in for next year. That means we need to make sure that we get started on that this summer.
What was the cost on the roof? I don't remember what the cost was.
It's yeah, it's going to be. I mean, you can start with probably $500,000 anyway. But yeah, that's a good place to start with that, given the area that we're talking about.
Right.
So it's a pretty significant portion of the high school, and then also that part of the primary that tends to bring us the most problems.
Okay.
Does that work for you, Mr. Nasworth?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Not on that.
All right. Thank you.
Didn't you have something on here about air conditioning, HVAC replacements?
Yeah.
There was,
Seven on the high school, I think.
If we hurry, if we keep this conversation going, we could probably check out the leaks.
Yeah. Yeah. We could have a practical lesson on that. Exactly. Keeps thundering like that.
I was reading over the HVAC, and those that were built in the 90s, they're getting obsolete, aren't they? We'd probably save money on the electricity we'd save.
Well, the ones on the high school cafeteria, we've actually got them sitting in the yard with plenum, holding in the yard, and we're just waiting for summer to get here when we can pull the over and put them in.
So we've got how many sitting out there, Ronnie?
There's 8 total. There's 1 for the middle school, tech lab, the shop area, 7 for the high school cafeteria. I've got 2 for the fitness center, and I've got 4 for the portables, middle school and elementary.
So there's a cycle of planned obsolescence for those, but we have to treat our HVAC like we do our buses. We need to be replacing the oldest ones every year as we go.
For the new portable, the portals we just brought in, are the HVACs working on those?
All of them was working except for one. We had bad compression on the one at the high school. We bought one to replace it. We haven't got it on yet. It's actually on its way because it was one of those 1920 model things. We're trying to match a barge unit that will fit that type of unit for the hose that's already cut in the building. Anyway, we'll get that in here. We'll put it over there, and then there'll be 2 at the elementary and 1, I believe, at the middle school. Total. But the wall pack.
Sure, right.
Okay. Is there any more questions on the maintenance report? Okay, move to item 9, presentation of two-way dual language concept. Mr. Nasworth and Ms. Roden.
Hi. Good evening, Mr. Owens and other board members. I just want to speak very quickly before Mr. Nasworth makes a presentation that he has spent a lot of time on and worked very hard on. I have had experience implementing two-way dual in another district. A couple of our assistant principals have had experience working with two-way in other districts, as well as a few of our teachers who have that experience. What I have learned, the best lesson I learned about implementing two-way dual, it is not something that should come from the top down. It's something that the campus needs to research and survey and make sure that it's truly a program that the staff and the parents and the business and community members can support, so we can have maximum effectiveness. So I have provided some ideas for Mr. Nasworth, but he has done all of the work on this, and I want to give him credit for that.
All right, we will go ahead and get started with our presentation here. On our first slide, just wanted to kind of give some clarification on what two-way dual language is and how it's different from the program that we're currently running. A two-way dual language program is kind of based on the idea that two groups of students with two different home languages will learn side by side together in hopes that each group becomes bilingual and biliterate in the opposite language. Currently, we're running a one-way dual language program, meaning that our bilingual students, our Spanish-speaking students, are learning only with Spanish-speaking students. And this creates a couple of issues, and as we get a little bit further into the presentation, I'll kind of share what some of those issues are. Why we're interested in the possibility of moving to a dual language program. There were several different things as we started looking at different research on why a dual language program would be beneficial to our kids. The first is throughout the world, knowing more than one language is the norm. In America, of course, that is not usually the case. Most people either speak English or Spanish, but there is not a whole lot of biliteracy. And just some of the research that we found as we started going through all of this, a child who knows more than one language has several advantages that will continue throughout their life. The first one being in looking at data from those students who are in dual language programs. In their testing, they perform either equal or above on standardized testing as compared to a single language student. Students who are bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural have increased marketability in a global society. And I can tell you from experience in trying to hire bilingual teachers, there are not very many out there that are looking, but everybody is looking for a bilingual teacher, and they can pretty much choose where they want to work. And so being bilingual really creates that for students. And then we hope that it will help them develop an awareness, respect, and appreciation for cultural differences, because we do see that as an issue today. So this is some of our motivation and some of the problems that we see with our current program and why we wanted to investigate whether or not we wanted to move forward with the dual language program. Currently, our students, as I mentioned before, they're paired with only Spanish-speaking students. And unintentionally, that has created a segregation of our Spanish-speaking students, our bilingual students. That is never what we intended to do, but the way that our bilingual program is set up, they start in pre-K with the same group of students, move to kindergarten, move to first grade, all the way up through fifth grade, and they're with that same group of students, never integrated in with the rest of the population, with the exception of maybe times at lunch or PE, music, art, specials classes like that. So that is something that we really want to move forward with, just so that we can more integrate those students in those classes. Because once they get to middle school and high school, and I think Ms. Buck has probably noticed the same with those students, they tend to stick together, and they're not really integrated into the rest of the campus. So that's one reason. Native English speakers would have an opportunity to learn a new language starting in kindergarten. And we think that that is extremely important, because that is when they learn the best and the fastest, is when they're younger. Students who participate in the program for 5 consecutive years, if they did kindergarten through 5th grade, they could earn Spanish 1 high school credit. That's a bonus. Opens up more opportunities for them when they get to high school to be able to take another class instead of having to have that Spanish class. And then if the program was to continue through middle school and high school, they can earn a seal of biliteracy on their diploma, and we currently do not offer that. So we wanted to know what our parents and the community thought about this, so we sent out a survey, and we only sent it to the current parents of primary students, because we wanted to see kind of what the interest was, and since the program would begin at kindergarten, that is kind of the general population that we're looking at right now. So we have a few questions, if you just want to scroll up, that we asked parents that we wanted to see kind of what their thoughts were. So our first question was, if this program was currently available, would you be interested in having your child learn to read, write, and speak a second language? And you can go up to the next one there, Liz. There you go. I made pie charts. So the blue section is the strongly interested. So 80% of the people, and I think we had, it was about 120 people who responded out of, we sent it to 380 parents, I believe. So we thought that was a pretty good segment of the population that we sent that to. So 80% were strongly interested in the program. A little over 8%, they were interested. Then we had a small group of somewhat interested, and about 9.5%, 10% that weren't really interested in the program at all. So we found that interesting. The majority is, definitely interested in having a program like this. Then on the next slide, we were just curious what the home language was of those people who filled out the survey. 73% of those that filled it out are English speakers at home, and 28% are Spanish speakers. We were just kind of curious where the information was coming from. And then on the next slide, since this is it's an ongoing program, it's not just a 1-year opt-in and then you're done. You've learned Spanish after a year of kindergarten. We wanted to know, would these parents commit to participating in the program at least kindergarten through 5th grade? And 73% were very likely to do that. 18% were likely, and that same 10% that didn't was not interested in the program answered that they were unlikely to do that. And then the last question on the survey was just a yes or no. Are you in favor of us providing a two-way dual language opportunity? And 93% said yes, that they were in favor of that. So we wanted to know kind of what their input was before we kind of moved forward and started researching a little bit more. So where does that leave us now? We have several questions that we need to answer before we would be able to implement a program like this. What our academic needs are, just different things like teaching materials. What do our teachers need to know to implement a program like this? What training might be required? What are our goals going to be for the program, and how do we evaluate it? And there are several different two-way dual language program models that we need to look at to determine which one best fits our community and which one would be best for our students. So our plan is over the next school year we will go through and answer all of these questions, figure out which program model would work best, and kind of be our planning year for the next school year. And then we would hopefully tentatively be able to implement and begin the program for the 22-23 school year. So we are very interested in moving forward with this and kind of starting to get more input from our staff and start to answer some of those questions that we're just not sure about because we have not implemented yet. So, and that is about it. Does anybody have any questions on two-way dual language?
When you implement it, you just take one class level at a time and move it up, or are you going to go one?
Yes, sir.
5?
No, we're looking at beginning in kindergarten. For 22-23, it would just be the kindergarten group. And then for the next school year, we would add first grade, and then second grade, third grade, fourth, all the way up to fifth. Each year adding another grade level.
Okay.
I guess.
Any more questions or?
Just one, I think. Call me, maybe I'm a little confused on it or not, but are we talking about doing this for all classes, one class? I mean, what if you have the 93% of all students wanting to do that?
That's a very good question. Our plan as of right now, and these are students that would currently not be eligible for the program because it will begin with kindergarten in 22-23. So this is just kind of a cross section of the parents and students that we currently have. But we would, over this next school year, we would advertise that to next year it will be our current pre-K students. So we would try and get them as much information out to them and find out the interest of those students in particular. Now all of our bilingual students, our Spanish-speaking students, would be included in the program automatically because this will be their bilingual train. And so we would start to survey those pre-K parents of English-speaking students who might be interested in that. So it would determine, once we know those numbers, it would determine how many of those kindergarten classes would be part of the dual language program. So we anticipate probably 1 to 2 classes would be part of that two-way dual language program. But you never can tell. Depending on the number of students that come in, it could be multiple classes. So.
And then my question would be, is this taught by only certified dual language, or can it be taught by any teacher? Because that would be another issue, because we have Spanish-speaking teachers that can't get their certification.
Yeah. Currently, and that's one of the program models that we would need to investigate and look at this next school year. Our thoughts in looking at some of the other schools around us that have these programs in place, usually they're taught by a pair, partners, one bilingual teacher and one ESL teacher. Hopefully an ESL teacher that speaks Spanish. But there are many different program models for us to look at and determine which one kind of best fits our needs. So, but very good question. We looked at all of that information as we were going through this, and there are so many different models for us to kind of pick and choose from, and we want to find what works best for the students at Venus.
Mr. Nasworth, we know that tonight is just a presentation. We're not voting. And as Ms. Roden very well stated, this is one of those things that really needs to be a grassroots kind of a movement. Where would you say we are right now as far as that sort of communication with staff?
I think they're all very aware that we're investigating this possibility. We've been talking about dual language for two-way dual language for 2 years probably. We meet quarterly with all of the bilingual staff in the district, and this has been a topic of discussion for a while. So I think everybody is very aware that it is a possibility. We're looking at moving that direction. So, and like I said, we're still kind of in the stages of investigating and looking at all the different things, and we have not 100% made a decision that this is the direction that we're going. But we do feel like we have enough information to kind of move forward and start gathering all of these things this next school year to be able to implement the following year.
So what you're doing right now is just gathering the potential. In other words, parent feedback, and then, and again, just kind of presenting the concept here to the board, sit down with the staff, and if you've got something that feels like it's got wings, then to bring back to the board for a vote.
Definitely. And we have kind of put together a timeline of what needs to be done each month from beginning in February last month. And these were all of the steps that you're seeing here. Those were our February steps and all the things that we looked at and investigated. And we're going to move forward each month with different areas that we need to look at and investigate. And the next one being speaking more in depth with the staff about it.
So right now, I mean, it could result in, hey, you know, we either are or are not going to bring a recommendation to the board for this.
Absolutely, because it's not only the buy-in from teachers and students and parents, but our staff all the way from kindergarten through 5th grade, they have to be on board with this before we can decide to do it. Because we don't want to just do a halfway program and have it in kindergarten and 1st grade and then it not happen at the elementary school and us be able to carry it on. So these are ongoing conversations that we have to have with all of the staff members, kindergarten through 5th grade. Any other questions?
Do our neighboring districts offer this?
I know Cleburne is a 2-way dual language. Midlothian, I believe they also have 2-way dual language. Most of the larger Metroplex schools, of course, offer it. We do have students that move in every year. We have students that move in from a 2-way dual language program, native English speakers that move in, and we don't offer that program, so they end up going into just a regular general class because we don't have that ability at this time.
Right. Of course, this would be an opt-in program.
Right.
I like it.
Well, I do too, honestly.
Yeah. I wish I had some of that whenever I was
I just have concerns about staffing and so forth.
Right, and that was...
Because we're already short of bilingual, and I was asking, is this going to require more bilingual? If we can get by without that, then we're probably good with it. If we can't, we're gonna have a hard time staffing such a program.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right. That's one of the first things that we looked at is if we choose to do this, how are we going to staff it? Because like I said before, you know, we look for bilingual teachers every single year, just from the amount of growth that program has seen. I mean, we all started off kindergarten through 5th grade with 1 bilingual teacher in each grade level, and now in some grade levels we're already up to 3. So it's always something to think about and something to consider. But you do have to remember too that whenever we do implement this program, those current bilingual teachers can become that dual language teacher, that half of that team. So as we move forward and, you know, beginning with that first year,